Welcome to Try Dialogue, where the youth reconnects with theater. My name is Dea Peço, and I'm speaking with Sanja Krsmanović Tasić, the founder of CEDEUM, otherwise known as the Center for Drama and Education and Art. I had the opportunity to talk to her about her experiences in theater, dance, and working with young people. First and foremost, just to get to know you, I wanted to ask about how long you've been in theater or in the arts in general, and then how long you've been part of these theater companies, like as a, not authority, but as an organizational role.
Mm-hmm. Well, it is, I think you become an artist as soon as you're born. And in a way, I believe everybody is an creative artist when they are born. But then the system and what they do in their life just breaks them down and puts them in boxes. And I actually started as a dancer, and very early I had started to do my training as a 4-year-old child that is continuous. So I never had a break that I said, okay, I'm not training, I'm not doing art. It was from 4 years old up to now. But it took different phases and different forms, but all the time pursuing art, and it's performance art that is my main objective. So first dancer, dance teacher, choreographer, choreo director, actress, theater director, and then in one moment you come to a point where you want to somehow help also other artists achieve what get better conditions for their work, find space, get money, get better laws, and then in a way you become to work on advocacy. And this is where I'm joking. I said now my position is quite political. Now I'm like a politician. I give all the time some kind of speeches everywhere, even though I prefer to do art, to perform or to direct or to teach art rather than to give speeches. But this is I believe this is my role now, and this is my mission. And it is only because I want to help my community. I want to help the world community of arts education and art, and you have to do it sometimes when you are mature enough to do it, and you're able to do it, and you have visibility and possibility to do it.
I focused in on this one part that you said, where people have been joking about you being some kind of politician. And I don't want to go too far away from my main theme, which is I want to discuss the role of youth in the arts. But you've had like tons of experience, especially in theater, which I believe is the most anthropological side of the arts. Do you think theater and art is inherently or majorly political?
Absolutely. I think any action is political. Anything, even a meaningless action is something that provokes change, that provokes a change in energy, and something that will change things. So it's all, it's also about intentions. I like, Eugenio Barba always says, intention means intention. Like tension, to be tense, to be ready to move, So what is the intention of the action? That is the main thing. And then, how it resonates and how it reaches out. So I believe, my reason to turn from dance to theater was because I felt my art, that was dance, was not eloquent enough to talk against the war that was happening in the beginning of the 90s. In this region, and that led to the falling and breaking out of Yugoslavia. So I turned to theater to learn how to speak, scream, cry, speak out against the war, shout against the war. And this is why I started to be an actress and not a dancer anymore. But now I do not believe that is true. I believe also with dance you can be political. And you can also speak out, and you can make activist and political performances through dance, really. But in that moment, I was quite young, and I didn't have enough courage to try it with dance.
Yeah, that is a major issue with youth primarily, but now I'm actually really glad that I chose to ask this question, because I feel like your answer is going to relate right back to what you had priorly mentioned. I wanted to ask if you had one theater performance, whether it's organized by you or whether you've seen it in theaters nationally, globally, that stuck, that genuinely was something that was embedded in you.
Yeah, is it something I saw or is it something that I performed?
It honestly can be either.
Okay.
I'd like to hear, especially if it's something that you perform personally, because it has, that other element.
Well, if it's something I saw, to be honest, I'm a great fan of Romeo Castellucci. And I have been seeing his performances in BITEF, in our festival, even though I had this amazing opportunity while I was touring with the theater group I was part of for many years, for 21 years, DAC Theatre. We toured all around the world, and I had the opportunity to see fantastic performances, and Bob Wilson and Pina Bausch and whoever you name it, and of course Odin Theatre. But Romeo Castellucci really had such a deep impact that I still remember some parts, and I think it was about Brussels, and it was it was in symbols. It was almost without text, but it left such a strong impression that I still have pictures of this performance come out from in my subconscious. Considering something that left also a very deep impact on me as a performer was the performance, The Legend About the End of the World, that we created in DAC Theatre in 1995-1996, and it was about the siege of Sarajevo. And to do a performance in Belgrade about the siege of Sarajevo, but of course it was metaphoric, but it was such a beautiful and strong performance, and it was about 3 women that were trying to make sense and rebuild on the ruins. And it could be ruins anywhere. It could be ruins in Gaza. It could be ruins in Syria, all around the world. But it's all about women trying to breathe in life when everything is destroyed. And I still, I have goosebumps when I remember this performance, because it was very strong and it was beautifully done. We had a wonderful set designer and costumographer, Antonella Diana from Italy, and she created this amazing cloth hanging from the ceiling and drops falling, making a soundscape. Like a sound partiture, that was all the time happening in the background, and that changed because when a drop falls in a water that has little water, it sounds different. But when there's more water, it sounds differently. So it was, and because it was really harsh times here, everybody thought that Cinema Rex, where we performed in Belgrade, was leaking. So they said, "Oh, this is such a good idea that you put the cloth because it's raining and it's leaking." And we said, "No, this is our sound installation. It's the drops that are coming from." And that was also one of the obstacles I had to overcome, because I was a little bit afraid of heights. But my task was to put on the mechanism for the drops, especially very precisely in what way, in all these little holes. And I was already in my costume. I had a huge dress, I had high heels, I had a coat, and I had to climb up these ladders and put on the drops. And this is, you overcome everything for art.
They were trying to kill you.
No, you develop. The more obstacles you have and the more you are able to overcome them, you become a more developed and stronger person. I really believe that. And that is all Eastern tradition is based on that.
Yeah, and the rain thing, I really love this detail because it's used in a bunch of other areas that deal with the human psyche. Raindrops have been used for psychological warfare globally for thousands of years. Yeah. And it shows that you're not only very involved in art, but also in all aspects of the arts, which leads me to the question of what kept you from straying from art? I mean, obviously, people always have this prejudice and this stigma that art is an unstable career and you must have some really comfortable background to fall back on if you choose arts. So what kept you in place? What kept you from straying?
Well, to be honest, I never thought of doing anything else. Really. I had strategies, like I think most artists have. Okay, how do I survive? Because maybe I do not have money from the arts, and maybe I do not have enough. Also, when you have a family, I had a family and children, and it's complicated. And then, I found strategies. For example, I had a dance studio for 20 years. I was teaching kids, and it was very difficult because I would work all day having rehearsals, writing projects, and then in all afternoon, evening, I would teach children. But that would give me some steady income. Or you also find a way what else you can do, but that is connected to art. Give workshops also to actors, to colleagues.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, the fact that you never thought from straying is extremely unique, especially in this day and age, because. And this is the main issue that I wanted to discuss. Youth is ever increasingly straying from the arts and getting scared of entering the field. So, because you just mentioned you've worked with a variety of ages, do you have a set of reasons that you see or as the main ones that keep youth from kind of being scared of art or pursuing their passions in the arts?
Well, I think young people should think about what they can share with the world. What is their voice? What do they want to express in any form? It doesn't matter. Performance art, of course, is strong because it's an experience for the audience, but it could be also visual art, any other. What do you want to speak out about through your art? And I don't mean, linear, verbal. It's all about, art speaks out. It is a statement. It is something that resonates. It's something that you give generously to the world, And I think they should think what do they want to express? And what do they want to share with the world? And I think there's so many wonderful things and important things for us, for the older generations to learn from the young people, to learn from you, to see what is that you want to share that is deep inside you. And I think our art is the great medium to do it, and you should do it. And I think young people should really not be afraid. I know that the pressure of the parents is very strong. It's always like do something that you can make a living out of. And I was lucky that my mother gave me great support. My father was not too happy, to be honest. So it's all a compromise, and in the end it worked out. And it worked out, and you can prove that you can live and find strategies what you can do that maybe provides some money, if money is so important, until you can earn money through the art, and just persevere. That's the point.
And I get what you're saying, that a goal or at least some kind of moral obligation that you feel is necessary to continue working in the arts, which is what you display, and most importantly what CEDEUM displays. Because as I looked into the organization's history, I saw that one of their main focuses was bringing or keeping theater and the arts in the education curriculum, and not having them erased for more convenient or more employable areas of knowledge. So I wanted to ask primarily, what drove you to focus on education? Was there a catalyst, that something happened that told you kids need theater, kids need the arts?
It is about really seeing with your own eyes how much theater and drama education develops their way of critical thinking, of self-esteem, of their well-being, of their perception of the world, of their analysis of the world and themselves in the world. And this is all through drama. And I think you always there is this famous feminist sentences that when you're personal, you're political. I really believe that you have to feel on your own skin, because I when I was a child, I lived in India, and I was 8 years old, and I was not so adapted. I didn't know the language so well. I was in British international school, and it was a little bit complicated, and I was not so happy. And then some drama teacher said, "Oh, you move so well." And I said, "Well, I did dance." And she said, "Come to the drama class." And I know how much it helped me. So, you know, as a child, when you experience what does theater and drama mean for a young person, you absolutely want to share this, that it is important and that you should work with young people and that every child should experience it, you know, and see what it does to him or her in a good way.
Now, you have a lot of experiences, so that's where I want to ask, have you seen a kind of difference in approach to theater and the arts from kids in public schools and kids in private schools, as you've probably interacted with both audiences?
Yeah. Well, it depends, you know. I don't see such a big difference. What I see, there is a need. And what I also see is that need is more satisfied in the private schools than in the public schools. And there was a time when actually drama education entered the curriculum of Serbian schools as a pilot program, but then it was cut. And unfortunately, we do not have it as a program, but still we are in CEDEUM and many of my colleagues, and I really respect the teachers who teach maybe English or Serbian language or I don't know, civil education, who work on drama education in the school, in the after school hours, during their classes, and I respect them immensely because sometimes they're fighting a lot of obstacles, but they're doing it for the benefit of the children.
Yeah, you've highlighted a lot, both in the interview and in your career, that keeping art in education is an important part of keeping art alive in the youth. So I wanted to ask, because as is the case for most of us artistic people in this new generation, we are not continuing our education by taking any art-focused subject due to, you know, the demands and what we want to succeed in the future. Do you believe there is realistically a way for young people to keep their passion and their dedication to the arts without pursuing it professionally and without learning it academically?
Absolutely, absolutely. Being in art, whatever you do, develops other areas in your life and develops you professionally. And what we are trying to achieve, you know, through advocacy and through different research, is proving that art education actually develops so many skills on so many levels for future professions that are not even envisioned now. Because it's about problem solving, it's about critical thinking, it's about creativity. You know, all these things that other subjects cannot develop. So we have to prove not only to the system and teacher and governments, but we have to prove to the parents also that it's so important that you know, children and young people experience art, because it will help them in any profession that they embrace in the future. So I think that it's something that enhances your life, you know, makes you more noble, makes you more human, makes you a better human being.
Yes.
I deeply believe that, and this is why you know, it's important to do it. Whatever you do in life, do some art, even if it's only in your free time.